TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donation. Shalom, good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcast to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, the heightened state of alert along Israel's northern border with Lebanon persists. Russia holds a naval parade in its Mediterranean base in Syria's Tartus, during which Moscow and Damascus vow to deepen their military cooperation, including as part of their common goal to confront the West in general and the United States in particular. The Islamic Revolutionary Guards launches a naval military drill in the strategic Strait of Hormuz yesterday, dubbed the 14th Prophet, during which the RGC conducted a hostile takeover of a mock-up aircraft carrier. The heightened state of alert along Israel's northern border with Lebanon persists following a quiet yet tense night. The Israeli security establishment's working assessment is that the Lebanese-Iranian proxy Hezbollah is still planning a cross-border attack against the Jewish state in retaliation for the death of one of its operatives in an aerial bombardment in Syria that was carried out last week, July 20th, which was ascribed to the Israeli Air Force. In light of the working situation assessment in Israel, the IDF spokesperson's unit released a statement in which it announced that the Northern Command will be reinforced with advanced fire capabilities, intelligence collection systems, and special units. In tandem, the Jerusalem leadership is sending a clear message to Hezbollah and its patrons in Tehran. Israel is not deterred. It will continue to operate against Iranian efforts to entrench militarily in Israel's region, and the Israel Defense Forces are well prepared for any scenario.
אני מתרשם שצה"ל ערוך היטב לקראת כל תרחיש אפשרי. אנחנו ממשיכים לפעול כדי לסכל את ההתבססות הצבאית האיראנית באזורנו. אנחנו נעשה כל מה שצריך כדי להגן על עצמנו, ואני מציע לחיזבאללה לקחת בחשבון את העובדה הפשוטה הזאת. ישראל ערוכה לכל תרחיש.
During a high-level meeting of Israel's top military brass in the IDF Northern Command, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu received a comprehensive intelligence and operational briefing from the IDF Chief of Staff, Lieutenant General Aviv Kochavi. Consequently, Netanyahu highlighted that the heightened tensions are a direct result of Iranian efforts to entrench militarily along Israel's northern front in both Lebanon and Syria.
כל מה שמתרחש כרגע זו תוצאה של ניסיון להתבסס צבאית באזורנו על ידי איראן וגרורותיה בלבנון. נסראללה משרת את האינטרס האיראני הזה על חשבון מדינת לבנון.
Well, evidently, Lebanon and Syria are hostages of Iran's malign activities. Jerusalem has apparently altered its strategic outline. If the Jewish state is drawn into a wide-scale confrontation with Tehran's proxies in Israel's immediate vicinity, the Islamic Republic will not be spared from the IDF's wide-ranging capabilities.
אני מסיים עכשיו ביקור בחיל האוויר, בטייסת אדיר, הטייסת הכי מתקדמת של חיל האוויר הכי מתקדם בעולם, עם יכולת פעולה בכל טווח. איכות אנושית מרשימה, דריכות מבצעית חסרת תקדים, וכושר פעולה בכל מקום, בכל תנאי מזג אוויר ולכל צורך. אני מציע לכל מדינות האזור. קרובות הרחוקות, איראן, לבנון, סוריה או כל מי שמעורב בסיפור הזה, יש למדינת ישראל יכולת, היא תדע להשתמש בה.
It is important to know that the Beirut government is subject to an increase of domestic criticism over the situation on its southern front with Israel at a time when Lebanon is faced with wide-ranging social and economic challenges. While the country's technocrat Prime Minister Hassan Diab, a political ally of the Lebanese-Iranian proxy Hezbollah, claimed the dangerous escalation on Lebanon's southern front to be part of Israeli hostilities against Lebanese sovereignty, the leader of a major Christian group in Lebanon, LFP chairperson Samir Geagea, boldly asserted in an interview with the Associated Press that Monday's incident along the border with Israel was a clear indication that the current Beirut government is not the sovereign over its own southern territories. Meanwhile, in Beirut, the government announced its decision to reimpose severe corona-related restrictions for the next 2 weeks in light of a spike of newly confirmed cases throughout the country.
ثم تحدث الرئيس عن ازدياد الإصابات بداء كورونا على نحو خطير، الأمر الذي يفرض التشدد في التدابير المتخذة للحد من انتشار الوباء وارتفاع عدد الإصابات. وقال: اتخذ اليوم المجلس الأعلى للدفاع قرارات لا بد من احترامها والتشدد في تطبيقها في محاولة جدية للحد من التداعيات السلبية على المواطنين والمقيمين.
While public information vis-a-vis the COVID morbidity in Lebanon is seemingly stable in contrast to other afflicted countries, the relatively low number of tests conducted daily does not provide a clear image of the situation. Nevertheless, residents of Beirut are vocally frustrated with the government's evident failure to enforce its own declared restrictions.
هلا أنا عندي مشوار ضروري وإلا ما كنت بجيب البيبي على محل كراودد. أكيد أنا اللي علي أنا بدي أحط الماسك وابني بده يضل بعيد عن الكل. أكتر من هيك ما فينا نعمل. بعتقد كان لازم يسكروا أكتر صراحة، يعني لأنه العالم فلتت على الآخر. بس شو بدنا نعمل؟ ما بعرف ليه في بوز بين تسكير وتسكير، كمان ما حدا فاهم ليه، بس إن شاء الله خير.
ما فهمت ليش تسكير رجع فتح رجع تسكير، إنه ليش؟ نعمل مثل غير محلات انه سكروا خلص اخذوا، يعني بالخليج خلص سيري مره واحده، ليش يسكر يرجع يفتح؟ انه يقيم يعني؟ ما بعرف. يعني انه اصلا خلينا اخي يحلوا لنا الاقتصاد، يا اخي اوكي اجراءات بس وين هي؟ وين التنفيذ؟ ما مثل ما انا شايف تجمعات وكل شيء، اوكي اجراءات شو عم يضرونا نحن عم بيوقف الاقتصاد بس، انما التنفيذ فعلي وين هو؟ ما بعرف، بعد التجمعات بعدها.
According to the Lebanese government's decision, shops, private companies, banks, and educational institutions are permitted to operate throughout Lebanon only on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, with near total lockdown in place Thursday through Monday. In contrast, Beirut's airport, land border crossings with Syria, and seaports would be kept open, as well as medical institutions, industrial and agricultural firms, and critical government functions. These measures are expected to last until August 10th. Turning now to Syria, where the Russian Navy held a parade in its Mediterranean base in Tartus as part of Moscow's celebration of its designated Navy Day. Among others, vessels and aircraft under review were the Kilo-class nuclear submarine Novorossiysk, the Admiral Makarov frigate, and jet fighters including the advanced Sukhoi 35 and Sukhoi 34. During the evident Russian show of force, the commander-in-chief of the Syrian Arab Army and the commander of the Russian forces deployed in Syria voiced to continue deepening military cooperation between Moscow and Damascus as part of the common goal to confront the West in general and the United States in particular.
هذه العلاقات التي تتطور باستمرار وتترسخ ثباتا وقوة في سبيل مواجهة سياسات الهيمنة والتفرد التي تحاول بعض الدول الغربية فرضها وفي مقدمتها الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية.
Turning now to the Persian Gulf, where the Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps launched a naval military drill in the strategic Strait of Hormuz yesterday, dubbed the 14th Prophet, during which the RGC conducted numerous naval maneuvers broadcast live by Iranian state television. Among others, the IRGC, which said it will use advanced missiles, unmanned aerial vehicles, and radar units in its drill, it also published a coordinated attack exercise against an aircraft carrier in an apparent signal of intent vis-a-vis the United States, which has 2 deployed carriers in the U.S. Central Command area of operations. In response to the Iranian drill of a carrier takeover, Commander Rebecca Reberich, spokeswoman for the U.S. Fifth Fleet, told TV7 in a written statement, quote, "We're aware of the Iranian exercise involving attacking a mock-up of a vessel similar to a motionless aircraft carrier. The U.S. Navy conducts defensive exercises with our partners promoting maritime security and support of freedom of navigation, whereas Iran conducts offensive exercises attempting to intimidate and coerce." Commander Reberich further stressed, quote, "While we are always watchful of this type of irresponsible and reckless behavior by Iran in the vicinity of busy international waterways, this exercise has not disrupted coalition operations in the area, nor had any impact to the free flow of commerce in the Strait of Hormuz and surrounding waters." Thank you for watching us. As part of TV7's initiative, I would like to encourage you to join myself and the team here in Jerusalem to pray. In light of the numerous challenges faced separately by India and the United States, we would like to lift up both nations once again in prayer for their salvation and peace, alongside our ongoing prayers, of course, for the peace of Jerusalem, the salvation of Israel, as well as for all those who are impacted by the corona contagion worldwide. Also, I would like to congratulate our TV7 producer and office manager Yair Pinto and his wife Anna for the newest addition to their family, a healthy baby girl. I'm Jonathan Hassan. Have an Erev Tov, and we will see you again tomorrow at the same time.